So moving on, I am going to be excited to share my next guest with you. And this is a big deal because this woman, I don't even know if she knows it, Kathy Buckley, I actually met her 27 years ago at the same time I met Lauren LaHave, and through a Tony Robbins event. She's a motivational speaker, a best-selling author who uses comedy to help audiences understand their gifts, their peers, and their choices. She's a 5-time American Comedy Awards nominee for Best Stand-Up Female Comedian. She speaks about the challenges of interweaving humor, storytelling to help bring people more compassion to others and themselves. Recently, she did a video that went viral, 64 million views. Can you imagine? 64 million views and counting. She's been on the top TV shows like The Tonight Show, Good Morning America, CBS, Today Show, Insider, Extra, CNN, HBO, all the best comedy shows you can imagine. And she's one of the world's most intriguing women and a living example that anything is possible. So please help me welcome my friend, Kathy Buckley. Amazing woman. Hey. Hi. I am so excited to have you here. I swear to God, the questions I had for you, I was laughing before I asked them, just saying.
Oh, well, then you don't need me. You entertain yourself. Lisa, this has been amazing. I don't normally sit through listening to things because there's no closed captioning, but I'm doing really good with this. You have amazing people in your court. I want to bite Aaron's face. I want to bite Alex's face. Amber's, I just want to squeeze her. I mean, Lauren, you have all these fabulous, Maggie Cook. Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing.
Thank you.
What a gift you want to give to the universe. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. So
I have no choice. You
So I do have a question for you. It's a very serious question. Are you ready? What kind of challenges have you had having to read lips with everybody wearing masks?
I've hit a couple of people, and I wasn't even in the protest. It was really difficult because the other day I went to the bank, and the bank teller had a mask on, and she kept trying to tell me something, and I said, I am deaf. You're behind a plexiglass. Is there any way I can see your lips? And she would not move her mouth. I said, okay, now we're going to learn sign language. Okay? You tell me with your fingers what you want. She just wasn't getting the word deaf. So it's a little frustrating, but every time I go outside and everybody's wearing a mask, I'm going, this is a really quiet world we're living in today. But it's life.
It is. I don't know if you knew it, but my grandmother lost most of her hearing in one of her pregnancies, so she was hard of hearing or deaf. And
oh, yeah?
Yeah, so she used to read my lips all the time, and I had a tendency of speaking too quickly, so I'd get yelled at a lot.
That's funny, because I got yelled at for using my voice too high, but because you're deaf, you want to hear yourself, too. You want to be a part of the conversation.
So let me ask you, you know adversity and tolerance too well. What would you suggest for people right now dealing with the uncertainty around them?
Well, that's just it. It's only uncertainty if you keep watching the news. Mm. Because the news is, I remember growing up, the news gave you facts. Now it's a media frenzy. You know, we don't get anything accurate. And we don't get it on time. Mm-hmm. And so, because even for me, some of the news stuff is not captioned. And when it is captioned, I swear it's somebody who's deaf captioning it because I don't know what they're saying either. But the uncertainty is not knowing when you're going to work, how we're going to make my money, how I'm going to make a living, how am I going to get food, how am I going to feed my family, how do I entertain my kids. I say put the kids in the closet. I don't know, maybe that's wrong. But this is an opportunity. It is also a gift. And the problem is people looking at the negative aspect of it instead of just getting back into the moment and start counting your blessings. Count what you have now. Because if you stop and think, the majority of the things that you have now are the things you need. Mm-hmm. The other stuff is what you want. And that's where you get yourself in trouble. Mm-hmm. When you start going for things that you don't need And especially at this is the time to be smart. This is the time to reflect, to reinvent, to recreate yourself, to reestablish your relationship with your loved ones, your kids, your family, whatever it is. This is a gift that you will never have again. I first, when it happened, I was like, I've been traveling for 32 years. And I go home to Ohio from California every month to take care of my mom. Well, now I can't do that. That really hurts me that I can't hold her. I call her 5-6 times a day. And you would think even her with Alzheimer's, she would go, leave me alone. But I never wanted her to feel alone. I want to know somebody's with her. So I personally think right now is the time to sit back and reinvent, recreate, and really ask yourself, do I want to continue on the road that I was on prior to this pandemic? Mm-hmm. Is there another path I want to take? So it is a time to be creative. I don't think it should be a time of fear. I think it should be a time to rebuild.
You know, what actually has helped you build your resilience? I mean, knowing that, I know your backstory. I know you 27 years now, which totally blows me away.
I think that's long enough.
You're kicking me out. But we didn't really know each other as well then. I think when we went to GILS, which is the Global Youth Leadership Summit, is when we got to spend real time together and get to know each other. But one of the things is you just always have a wonderful perspective on things. And I would love people to know, like, being deaf was, you made this into a career, what somebody else may have made it into a liability.
Well, I didn't choose this life. I was blessed with it. Mm-hmm. I didn't choose to be a comedian or a motivational speaker. Who would have thought the little deaf girl who couldn't talk, all of a sudden she makes a living opening her mouth? It's amazing to me, still, to this day. But I have a passion. My passion is people. And it's not because I can't hear. It's also because, well, look, I was in school for retardation for several years. I dealt with molestation in my own home. I was run over by a Jeep. I was a paraplegic for 2.5 years. I've had cancer twice. Mm. So how are you not supposed to smile when you walk through all of that? It's like going through a dark tunnel in life. And you know there's a light. But courage is to keep going. No matter how many times you get hit down, every challenge in life is nothing more than an opportunity to see your strength. It's an opportunity to see just how powerful you are. It's not an opportunity for you to become a victim of a circumstance or a situation. And if you do become a victim of a situation, then you have chosen not to live. Hmm. You have chosen to live on this earth. I don't live on this earth, if that makes sense. I live in the fantasy of everything is what it's supposed to be. Like I asked myself one time, this is what I did. I was in 9 states in 10 days. I was going from one job to another, and I came home and I was exhausted, and I'm crying like a baby. And on my wall are pictures of all these babies and kids that I've gotten educational services for or surgeries, and I'm going, oh, F the kids, I don't care, and I'm just bawling over here. And then behind me is this cartoon of a little girl looking up to the heaven and says, God, if I give away all my love, would you give me a refill? And I thought, what's my refill? What puts a smile on my face? What makes me feel we don't do that one thing for ourselves? It can't be having somebody else love you. It has to be something just for you. And so I love being in water because that's how I learned to walk again. So for 5 years, I saved to put in a pool in my backyard. And every morning, the first thing I do, I roll out of bed and I roll into the pool. And I work out for an hour. Wow. And it fills me up emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So I asked everybody, what is your refill? What's going to make you fall in love with you?
Wow. So if you're listening, answer the question for Kathy. What's going to be your refill? What's going to make you fall in love with you? You know, that's such a great question, because one of the things I've known for years is the one thing everybody needs is to learn to fly, and fly stands for first love yourself. And yet it's such a challenge for people where they're so easy to give their love away, but they don't give it to themselves.
You have to fill yourself up, otherwise you don't have nothing left to give. And I gotta tell you, this pandemic taught me a lot, because I didn't realize how much I was spending with my mom, how much I was pouring out to her. And it's been nice. I mean, my car's been in the driveway for 2 months. I don't think it runs anymore, to be honest with you. Battery's dead, gas is leaking down the driveway, I don't know.
Have they had a search and rescue for you at the airport yet, saying, where's Kathy? She's not flying?
No.
Does that happen?
No, I missed them. That was my only foreplay, security.
So I was thinking, you know, because I saw a picture on social media, and it was this person who had the noodles from the pool, because you talked about the pool, and they had these 6-foot noodles as a hat. So he wanted to make sure they kept everybody 6 feet from him for distance.
Oh, how cute!
So, you know, it's like, what do you think? How do we deal with people who are very sensitive to the social distancing, that they need to wear that hat noodle, you know, and they took it out of the pool and put it on their head, versus the public cuddlers who want to just hold you? So
that's hard. I mean, it's hard for me. I'm a hugger.
Me too.
You know, that's why I have inverted nipples. I hug everybody. But since the pandemic, everything's popping up. But I don't want people to be paranoid. Mm-hmm. I'm a little nervous. I don't go out primarily because when I got run over, I'm functioning on a half a lung on the one side. So I want to make sure that I'm a high risk. But I'm so suspicious because I have 14 kids in my neighborhood that call me Aunt Kathy. And they keep coming over and they want a hug, and I'm going, but don't be afraid. You know, whatever's going to be is going to be. That's all there is to it. We have no control in this life. We can't even control our own bladders. Our bladders have control over us. We want to go. If they want to go, we got to go. You know, so just be in the moment and take it one day at a time.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. And now you just gave suggestion to my bladder. Thank you so much.
You want a glass of water? I'll tempt you.
Drinking water.
I challenge you.
Kathy, what would be, as far as some advice for entrepreneurs today? Because like your business has changed, you're not doing the same talking you've done and so forth. What would be some advice for entrepreneurs specifically, as this is about helping them thrive?
I'm not a really good business person, I'll be honest with you. I trust in God for everything. But I believe that when you build your own self-esteem up, your own physical, be healthy physically, eat good, and build yourself up good, create a day of gratitude. I'm always being grateful, just like Amberly was saying. It's just, there's something about when you live in gratefulness and thankfulness and all of that, it puts you in a peaceful mind. Mm-hmm. So for all business people, sometimes don't think about your business. Just think about yourself and your surroundings, your personal surroundings. Because once you feel strong within yourself, you will look at your business in a way that go, oh crap, I didn't even think of that. You know, so many people think there's only one choice when something happens. I say, set up your options. Look for options. Then take a look and see what your choice is on your next move. Because people want to move too fast, because this world is moving fast. I'm asking them, step back, take a deep breath, and just be in the moment. And then when you are quiet, you'll be surprised the amazing gifts that will come through your mind to help you move forward.
Well, that's awesome business advice for someone who says she's not good in business. Because the truth is that when we were talking earlier about working on your business versus in it, the only way to work on your business is to step back and look at it from a different perspective. Because when you're in it, it's like you can't see the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see all the options. So that's awesome advice for what we can be doing. And the other piece is to silence. You know, when we have all that noise going on, we miss the messages that we need to hear. That, you know, I remember when I was looking for the answer, what am I supposed to do? And we talk about purpose. And, you know, we've shared, I've had adversity in my life. I think everybody on this speakers panel has had adversity, is why they've risen to such level. And I think that unless you're not a human, you'll have no adversity.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has adversity.
We all have it. 90% of your adversity are created by you.
That's
so if you create the adversity, then you can find a solution to move past it.
That's awesome. Absolutely. And also realizing that we have these choices that we get to make. And you've made some amazing choices with all the adversity that you've gone through, and you've made it your blessings, which is absolutely amazing. You know, I know that you've written books and other things. Is there any, like, what would be for the Thriving Entrepreneur's Playbook, one last piece of advice you want to share for our listeners?
If you're feeling down in life, if you're feeling like you're depressed or scared or whatever have you, step outside of yourself and see somebody, go see who needs something more than you. Contribution, when you contribute, you lift your spirit. And when your spirit is lifted, your confidence is scoring. So when your confidence scores, you will make the best choices for you. So giving is also receiving.
Thank you. And we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to be having you come back for the Entrepreneurs Thrive Challenge, right?
I didn't realize the mistake that we made. You kept thinking New Jersey time. I'm on LA time, but at 10 o'clock I have to go to GYLS.
Oh, okay. So
Global Youth. So what time is that going to be?
No, it's right after this. So it's perfect.
What did we have to say? Woohoo!
So
doggone deaf people, we live in our own world.
we talked about the kids. We totally made sure that you're going to take care of your kids. And children are huge for you. Is there a way we can support you, that we can support your endeavors with them?
I have schools for low-income families for deaf and hard of hearing children that I work with. No Limits for deafchildren.org.
Okay, so can you just repeat the website again so that we can share that with people?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Repeat the website again.
It's No Limits for deafchildren.org.
Okay, No Limits for deafchildren.org. Yeah, we're going to share it in the chat for everybody, okay? So we can support you there too. And you're going to be with us in the next segment for the challenge. And if there's something that you're going to be giving away, a book or something, we'll also, again, take a picture of Kathy, right? Kathy Buckley, hashtag Kathy Buckley, hashtag me, Lisa Lieberman-Wang, and also Help Businesses Thrive. And we'll be giving away more great gifts as we continue the day. So Kathy, thank you for being here.
I am blessed to be here. I just love that I get to see your beautiful face.